I think for me, the goal with my work always is to just softly bring people in, right? Everyone is very welcome to feel authentically present in the space of my work, whatever it brings up for them. Hi, hello, my name is Chelsey Campbell. I'm a disabled queer researcher here at the University of Alberta. I'm a visual artist, researcher, educator. The work that's going into Trek is looking at narratives of disabled, resistance, and joy. So I started my sculptural series using prints that I had made in my undergrad that looked at this grief that I was originally feeling as I accepted becoming more disabled. And I really wanted to start thinking through how I could care for my body and care for the environment and start to fold that together. So I built up these sculptural series, making 3D scans of my hip bone and then cutting it into paper thin slices, each set of data, and so that it built up the bone itself. And then on top of that, I got the privilege of what does it mean to actually hold an object that, for me as a person with a degenerative hip disease, I spent so much time thinking and caring for this part of my body. I got to physically hold it and care for it. Holding your hip in your hand, and it's now set in the cane that I use in my everyday life, is part of the sculpture, so I get to walk with my cane beside me or my hip beside me. And then that extended to the other piece. And it's a patient belongings bag that has been 3D scanned from the bag I had when I came home from my surgery on March 13th, 2020. So I had this major reconstructive surgery on top of literally the day a pandemic started. Took over 1,600 cuts of paper to form the sculpture. And it is my entire body of work from my undergrad printing. 4 years of work got compressed into one sculpture to make the work. But what felt so powerful was the work from my undergrad felt so rooted in the trauma of thinking through patienthood, and that all of a sudden I could shift it from I was no longer a patient, but rather to see myself as that person and removed from the medical industrial complex. And that I got to again extend this care and reclaim those narratives as something that felt authentic to who I am as a CRIP now. So CRIP is a terminology that is held within the disabled community. What is originally a derogatory slur, cripple, and we've reclaimed that language as a way to own both ourselves as a political entity, but a unique culture in and of itself. CRIP is like this magical generative word that allows us to access each other as well. It's very much a way to distinguish and find each other in community. Each piece shows a piece of text that's either been extracted from my own personal journals that I write after having beautiful generative conversations with my community. I also pull from some of my favorite writers or just moments where I've been in community. I'll pull bits of dialogue. And it allows me to center these narratives that I want the world to see and to know. They're made through this process of lasering, so they're incredibly fragile. So again, it's that act of care, right? And I see our stories kind of sitting within that fragility. But then once the laser cut piece is backed onto another piece of tissue, all of a sudden it's so much stronger by the connection of the two. And to me, that series was my moment to take all these thoughts of care that I had and to start thinking about what does it mean to collectively daydream. But I think at the end of the day, if I had a goal, if it's just to give some person an access point into disability justice, or for someone to see something and have that spark of seeing themselves in the work, right? That is a gift.